We've all heard the news about Olympian Oscar Pistorius. He's been accused of shooting his girlfriend to death. Apparently, banned steroids have been found in his home. And this brings up the theory of roid rage. Our friend Dr. Bothwell is here to shed some light. Welcome to Primetime, Marcy.
Hey,
Dr. Bothwell / Marcy. Yeah, I mean, I've heard about roid rage most of my life. Had a personal experience with it as well. I'll tell you about that later.
That is so frightening.
But now there's speculations about Oscar Pistorius that he actually really murdered his girlfriend based on being under a sense of roid rage. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't want to give him an excuse.
Right.
He may just be a really bad guy.
He might be just a bad guy.
But there is evidence that they actually did twin studies, and they had one twin on the steroid and the other twin not, and it showed that the twin on the steroid was just more aggressive, could get violent. I mean, over and over again, they're showing a connection with the aggressive behavior. And depending on your underlying personality, it can really expose your defects. So say, a lot of these athletic performers they're aggressive by nature, and they should be, because we want them to win. But, you take that another step further.
Or 10 steps, and it heightens it.
And some of them even go into psychosis. And that's, they've been talking about bipolar and mania and then depression when you go off.
But really, I didn't know it was that extreme, that taking steroids could then be a trigger to psychosis, to having a bipolar disorder?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Mania, going on and off, can cause depression, and then some people it will trigger an underlying psychosis. So they are not to be played with, and our kids are getting them off the internet all the time. It's just amazing statistics on that. But I do want to clarify what steroids are and what they aren't.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah. Corticosteroids are the steroids that are catabolic. They break down tissue. We use them a lot for inflammatory diseases, rheumatoid arthritis. We get steroid injections when we have inflammation in our spinal cord and our knees.
I take a nasal steroid just so I'm not always congested from allergies.
Exactly, and those things are fine. They do have some side effects, especially the ones that you take orally or inject. They can cause some irritability, things like that. But they are fine. They are prescription, and they are, they're not going to cause this effects. Then you have the female hormones, which are the estrogens, and they're fine. I mean, granted, every once in a while, the time of the month you get a little cranky, but that's not what we're talking about.
Right.
What we're talking about is testosterone, and it was discovered actually in the 1930s. And then the 1950s is when the Russians actually started using testosterone. They synthesized it, and that's when you had the big Russian weightlifters.
Yeah.
And that's when they came along and started popularizing it. And so we had to catch up.
Big Russian weightlifters with the small testicles.
Yeah.
Right?
So we had to catch up.
Yeah.
And so, of course, now all of our weightlifters think that that's the right thing to do, and the only way they're going to get as buff and as, manly, except for they can't really get too manly because they don't have any of their own testosterone, is to take the steroids.
Okay, but you're talking about testosterone because there is testosterone in a natural hormone type substance, but then we're talking about steroid types.
It's a synthetic testosterone, and there are a couple different types.
Okay.
And then there's actually, you see all those commercials on the TV now. We're talking about the low T syndrome. And so I want to go through kind of what the difference is. Okay. Normally men have about 300 milligrams. Think of this as 100, 200, 300. Okay. As you get older, sometimes we start to lose a little bit of our testosterone. Okay.
Sometimes they absolutely do.
Not everybody.
When they're in their late teens, early 20s, they are,
Oh, they're just like jacked up.
Yeah.
But and sometimes you can't tell the difference between kids taking extra testosterone and just teenage boy behavior.
Right.
But in the in your 40s and 50s, sometimes it starts to slide down a little bit. So I'm seeing all these commercials.
That's a natural progression that men lose their testosterone.
Natural progression. And a lot of men are actually taking supplements.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're taking supplements to get back up to their natural level.
Right.
Okay, that's okay.
So they have increased libido. So they,
So, and that's okay. But all you have to do is watch one of those commercials and they go over the side effects of steroids very thoroughly. Okay.
Right, but I will tell you, when you're losing testosterone as you age, you also your metabolism slows down. You're more prone for weight gain. So men like to take it to supplement, to get back to those levels where they have a higher metabolism,
absolutely,
higher libido.
If I had something like that, I'd probably take it too. I can't fault them for taking it. But then when we're talking about what the athlete does, okay, we're talking that much is considered, this is what the Olympics, if you are 4 times the amount of testosterone, then the Olympics will throw you out. Right. These people are doing.
So you have to be 4 times the average, and these people are doing this much.
Yeah.
So, and they found banned steroids in Oscar Pistorius's home.
Yeah.
And I have a question for you. If this girl's going to the bathroom in the middle of the night, why would she lock the door? It doesn't make sense that she would lock the door unless she was trying to protect herself. It's the middle of the night.
I don't lock the door when I'm trying, you know.
I don't lock the door.
And I'm usually not afraid of somebody in their nightie. No, so there was obviously something else going on. People heard an argument going on, and there was apparently a text from a significant other that may have set it off. And a lot of the things with the roid rage is paranoia. And so, you know, whether it's real or not, the guy...
You could go into psychosis, just like you said, so paranoia goes hand in hand with that.
The guy may have just been delusional and thought, you know, no matter what she said, maybe, that I'm not having any relationship with this guy, he's just a friend. He probably didn't believe her, and he just went nuts.
And then they don't know how to stop. So I will tell you, in my 20s, I was married very briefly for 6 months to a football player, and I didn't realize him, but he was taking steroids and went on a roid rage and beat me senseless. Like he disfigured my face and put my head through a ceiling. It was quite traumatic. Never gave him a chance to do it again, filed a restraining order and left. But the thing is, this man was such a kind man, you know, on all other levels. I never would ever imagine he could turn into a monster like that. So I saw that firsthand, looked right in the eye of a monster, and you know, and luckily I was smart enough not to let it happen twice. But there are women who aren't smart enough or who stuck around. So if there's signs,
first time, shame on him. Second time, shame on you.
It's dangerous. It's very dangerous, and these athletes feel like they need that edge to compete. And, and even men, like at the gym, it's bizarre. Females are taking it too. Let's talk about that.
It is just crazy to me. High school students, 7% of 9th to 12th grade boys have tried the testosterone, but even up to 5% of girls. Yeah. Because they want this extra edge. And I just find that crazy because, you know, when you're that age, you think yourself invincible, that nothing is going to happen to you, that who cares about the side effects. But these kids are coming down with, they're getting cardiomegaly, that means their hearts are getting bigger. If your skeletal muscles are getting bigger, your heart is another skeletal muscle.
It's affecting everything.
And so then you get cardiac arrhythmias, you get heart attacks, some of these kids are just collapsing on the fields. Yeah. And it's not all, you know, something that you're born with, an idiopathic heart problem. It is steroid induced.
And when women do it, and they do for athletes, and then all of a sudden their genitals are getting bigger, and I'm like, hello, you a woman or you a man? What are you?
Yeah, and if
you're going to take a male hormone, hello, honey, you're going to start getting hairy pimples and looking like a, I don't know. Just stay away from it. It's bad stuff, and it's dangerous. And it's not only dangerous to the person taking it, it's dangerous to the people who love them, period.
To the people around them, exactly.
So, I mean, I could absolutely see something like this taking a nice person and makes them snap.
And then even when they try and go off, if they go off, they can get then depressed and suicidal. I mean, there's just too much in your body. There's, you know, you take one thing to affect it, and you just don't understand the unintended consequences.
You don't have balance. When you don't have balance, homeostasis, you're in trouble. You're asking for trouble. Thank you for coming on Prime Time. Always interesting with you and always a good time. Thank you so much.